All right. You're not going to believe this story. This is unreal. I am driving back from Destin and I am in the middle of nowhere, Florida, right? So, as much as I've talked about the housing market and what it's like to live in my market, the South Florida market, I am in the middle of Florida man territory. But it's too good for me to not share. All right. So, I am leaving. I don't even know where the hell I'm at. But I am leaving the BP gas station, and this is not where the incident happened. This is a few miles down the road or up the road. Oh, that's not good. That's too dark. Well, there's not much I can do about it being too dark. So I tried to turn the interior lights on, and they have not helped much. So you get what you get, and you don't get upset. But anyhow, I'm driving back from Destin, Florida. And shout out to Kevin 24/7. Shout out to Squirrel Tribe. Shout out to Ron Yates, because we had a great time and they were tremendous hosts. We had a ton of fun together, and Destin is really nice. I haven't been to this side of Florida or to Destin ever before in my life. So I was completely surprised when I drove over the massive bridge into Destin Beach and got to see how incredibly cool this coastal community is. And I was really surprised how unbelievably nice it is and how much it reminded me of what it used to be like in Fort Lauderdale, and how much it reminded me of what Boca Raton and Delray Beach and even Boynton Beach used to be like. Because all of those coastal communities in those cities used to be very similar to what it's like over in Destin. But there's absolutely no comparison now. But I'll summarize it very briefly. It was very, very touristy. It was very, very seasonal. It's right next to a military base, so there's a lot of military personnel that are in the area, but it is a very seasonal town. And we are in their season. It's summertime. So the entire beach was mobbed. The entire place was packed. We went out on the boat, and the Gulf side of the bay was completely mobbed. There were all kinds of people out there parked up in, I think it's called Monkey Island or Monkey Cove. And I want to call it Peanut Island, but I know that's not what it's called because that's where I was last week. And I shot a video from there. But you had all these different pontoon boats and yachts and regular boats just all parked right in this really shallow area. People are walking to and from boats. They're partying their brains out. They're having the time of their life. And the police were there to help mitigate the issues that come with too many people and too much partying. We saw some blue lights regulating, but there was plenty of people out. They were maxing out the opportunity to be out there in the sunshine, in the ocean, on the boat, living their best lives and having the best time ever. And Kevin and Michelle took me on a tour through the coastal community while we were on the boat. And we looked at different properties, different homes, different new construction, different condo buildings. And I know for certain that that market is very different than mine, because I can just look at the condos that are there on the beach and know visually, just by looking at them, that they have not done the upgrades, the improvements, the concrete restoration, or brought in the building up to code to where it needs to be based on the recent insurance and condo requirements. I know they're not up to speed. I know they're not capitalized the right way. I know that they are definitely going to be hit with assessments at some point in the future, because I have two eyes and I can see, and I know that they're not where they're supposed to be. But that's a different story for a different day. We had a great time, and I got to see all of these really nice homes, and the market in Destin has exploded right along with every other market in Florida. So there were multi-million-dollar homes on the waterfront that we got to look at, and we had a great day. But I got to get back home because my kids are ending their school year. I definitely want to be there for their last day. I want to drive them to school. I want to pick them up. I want to have those experiences and those memories. So I'm driving back, and right now it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I'm not going to get to where I'm going until about 2:30 in the morning if I don't have to stop. And I can promise you, I'm going to have to stop because I am overhydrated to the max, and it is what it is. So I'm driving home, and as you can clearly tell by the fact that it is almost pitch black everywhere, this road is not well lit. And I didn't want to stop at all because I'm trying to get home as quickly as possible. I want to sleep in my own bed. I want the comfort of knowing that I'm home. But nature called, and I'm starving. So when I saw that there was a Burger King, which I do not ever eat, because Burger King is disgusting. I don't want to eat that food, but I'm starving, so I'm willing to make concessions, and I have to eat. And full disclosure, if it was only hunger, I wouldn't have stopped, but I also desperately need to use the bathroom. So that's what I did. I saw there was a rest stop. I saw there was a Burger King. I saw there was a gas station, and I figured I'd be able to get some food and go to the bathroom, and that would be a win-win. And if those things happen, I can promise you I would not be making a video right now. But those are not the things that happen. Instead, as I pulled off the highway, I realized there was absolutely nothing else whatsoever within as far as the eye could see. There was simply the gas station, which had a Burger King in the gas station. So I did what anybody would do. I pulled up, I parked, I locked the door, and I walked in, desperate to use the bathroom and very hungry. I'm hangry. And I also have to pee desperately. Nonetheless, I walked in, and as soon as I walked through the door, a diminutive little man, I will call him Pedro, ran, not walked fast, not jogged, ran to greet me as I walked through the door. And I'm making this video simply to highlight what customer service is not. And while I don't have very high expectations of high levels of customer service from a gas station attendant or a Burger King employee, I also don't expect to be confronted aggressively by a teeny little man named Pedro. And I don't know if his name is Pedro. It just makes the story more funny. Nonetheless, this dude comes running up to me, coming in hot, aggressive. So I stop and stand my ground and listen to him yell at me. And when I say yell, I mean yell. Yell at me, "We're closed, we're closed, we're closed." And so I replied to him, "The door was open." And I can tell you that he was not prepared for that answer, because the door being open is obviously not a sign of the business being open. So you might understand my confusion. And also, I desperately needed to use the restroom. So the last thing that I wanted to do while I was walking through the door is stop and deal with Pedro. I desperately needed to pee. Forget about Burger King. I had to pee. But Pedro wasn't having it. "We're closed, we're closed." And so I repeated what was obvious, that the door was open. To which he replied, "The lights are off." To which I replied, pointing up at the lights that are on, "It appears the lights are on." So you could understand my confusion. And that's exactly what I said. Same delivery, the same. There was no anger. There was no anything. There wasn't even any annoyance. There was just confusion because I really didn't understand what was happening. And I desperately needed to solve my pain point, which is I got to go to the bathroom. Nonetheless, he said, "The lights are on." And I pointed to the obvious fact that the lights are on and said as much. The lights are on. But Pedro is steadfast in his delivery of his rebuttal, which, of course, is that "we're closed, we're closed, we're closed." So I took a step back to de-escalate the situation and resolved myself to the fact that I was not going to be going to the bathroom there. I would have to continue to drive or figure it out some other way, which, as I mentioned, we're in the middle of nowhere, so I can solve the problem fairly easily. But he's yelling, "We're closed, we're closed." Okay, I'm sorry, sir, if I offended you in some way by walking through the door that was open with the lights on, but I understand your clothes and I'm going to leave. But I'm curious, did I do something to offend you by walking through the door? To which he replied, "Yes, you told me the door was open." Now, I'm in the service industry. I serve and support customers and clients and really everybody on a daily basis. I want to provide the best, the ultimate customer experience to everybody that I meet. And while I think it's obvious that that is not what I received from this employee of either Burger King or whatever the name of the gas station was, I don't know who he worked for. I just know this is the person that I was dealing with in this particular moment. And obviously, he's not doing so hot. But I had to de escalate the situation. And I just wanted to get out of there as quickly as I possibly could. So when he continued to say, "We're closed," I just said, "Okay, thank you. Have a great day." And rather than say nothing or something normal, he proceeded to yell again. Yelling is the key part here. Yell, "We're closed!" To which I replied, "I get it. God bless you, sir." Which everyone knows is the biggest insult anybody can ever give to anyone, right? Well, that's probably obvious to everyone but me, but that's what I said. And to that, he replied, "I don't believe any of that bullshit." To which I replied, "Go